13 weeks out from the Texas Pro here at the Muscle Factory. We are training push today. We're gonna walk through that workout. Also talking about PEDs, what I'm changing for about to move into my fat loss part of prep. We're talking about pizza, burgers, and car show this week. Let's jump into the workout. All right, getting into this session, the first exercise we're gonna do is a hammer strength flat press. Have this in rotation for a while. My push days are the hardest to progress on. Pretty much in this session, I've been maintaining it across these last weeks of just holding gear low, maintaining body weight. And today, just being able to match my previous performance, which is all I'm looking for out of the session. If I can take some progression, hell yeah, we'll do it. But to be expected, we're just kind of maintain on this lift. For the week, we talked about pizza and burgers, and Ray and I just falling off the rails. And not really. We had midweek did like a macro match pizza at home, and trying to have some enjoyability while food's high this last week, because this is my last week before I actually pull food down for prep. So we do like a yogurt and flour crust, and then the rest is all like low fat free cheese and stuff to do it. Then last night we did I've told you about this before, just like burger, sourdough bread, and then just cut fries and bake them. So again, macro matched. So pizza and burgers are the one thing that we usually won't go eat out, just because it's so hard to stay within a calorie allotment that's with our diet. And also just, man, the sodium and the water jump up and get reflux at night because you're old. So usually that type of stuff we make at home, and we ended up not going out to eat this week. But solid week overall. We'll jump over to our next exercise. Right, we can get into our next exercise here, which is is a prime chest press. I can move this one up to like a 15-degree incline, which starts to get into more upper pec fiber. I have like a pretty big, just natural barreling to my chest, you want to say, and so not like sort of flat rib cage, to where like I don't need a lot of incline to hit into these upper clavicular fibers. Also like the prime second, as like that hammer strength press is really hard to lock out, so tricep fatigue to your next exercise could be a problem. So this one I load pretty much all lengthened on that top peg. And again, three sets here, just like I did on the hammer strength flat press. This session is 9 sets of chest volume in total, just counting work sets. Let's talk about physique progress for the week here. So, posing is fasted here, and still been floating around like 263, which it's just been the longest I've ever held around this body weight. Past long off season ago, I touched 262 one time, like one day, but I never, and way fatter. So this is by far much more conditioned. And then looking back, I'm still at a very good spot to like diet in 12 weeks. I'll probably be ready in 8 weeks. Who knows, maybe an earlier show, but for now, Texas is on the map. So this week was just getting back into a little bit of cardio since my hip issue I had. That's 100%. Totally smashed leg day on Friday with 0 issues. And getting that back in place. Steps are at 10,000 per day. And off the visuals, they look great. I'm in a good spot to just pull down food and start dropping body fat. So that'll be super productive. The one thing I am changing for this week is I am bringing gear up 50% from what peak dose will be on prep. And what peak dose is, I've kind of assessed this based on like what I've done my last prep, what maintained tissue, and also what I did in the off season. It's a lower percentage from the off season. So that's where I have the estimate to take my peak dose, and this week start at 50% that, to where it'll be a little bit in my system before I pull food down. So when I pull food down, we're like already have some good anabolics present to retain tissue. So that's the only change I made for the week. Just started that 2 days ago, so nothing really kicking in, so to speak. Our next exercise, we do I do a prime pec deck fly, cam 73. So loading fully lengthened now. Taking the triceps completely out, so just purely getting more direct thrust volume in without having to have so much loading from like a compound movement and the fatigue that accommodates that. So this is all about managing volume across the session and putting into body parts that are priorities. So chest, all being trained first and prioritizing how I execute the lifts and how I sequence the lifts. So 3 sets on our pec deck fly here. Other things, yesterday, someone asked me to do a car vlog. I totally will do a car vlog. Might be able to do it this week and show you the Mustang. It's in the shop, so show you the new motor and everything. But we went to a car show yesterday and entered it with our 73 Bronco, which was the first car show for the Bronco. And it was an awesome time. It's at actually my mom's retirement community. So they do a walk for Alzheimer's and raise money for. And it has an awesome turnout. It's probably 200 cars out there, high quality. And I was a little salty because I felt like I was bodybuilding because we all got numbers, right? And all the judges go around. It's all subjective judging. And there was one other Bronco, 74 Bronco, and it won best truck. I was like, oh, man, like I felt like I was close to winning this trophy. And then so like, you know, it's funny because you could joke like you're in bodybuilding, right? Like, oh man, they probably knew the judges, like my car was way cleaner, like it's just like funny, but it was a lot of fun. So Ray and I both enjoyed it a lot. Look forward to when we both can bring the Bronco and the Mustang out to one of those. So it's nice in bodybuilding to try to find some hobbies you like outside of just bodybuilding, because it can pretty much be all consuming, which doing some car shows or car events, get-togethers, it's nice. It keeps you social, but it also doesn't take away from your bodybuilding. You basically walk around and then go back and sit by your vehicle, and you can just eat and then walk around some more. So it's pretty perfect for like a bodybuilding type hobby. Right, next exercise, moving to a JM press. Love the JM press. I think it's a great in-between to a close grip bench press and a skull crusher. And just that little bit extra bit of shoulder extension you get just alleviates some off the elbow. I do it on an incline bench, so you still get the arm a little bit more overhead than doing it on a flat bench. And in turn, you get a little bit more long head of the tricep, a little extra lengthening. Again, it's not a fully lengthened tricep movement. You'd have to get fully overhead. And sometimes I'll put those in my other push day. But for me, doing direct overhead work for triceps really will tax my elbow quickly over time. So this is a good in-between. But really think these will contribute to a lot of good tricep growth and like more thickness in my side chest shot. Doing 3 sets here. And also what happened this weekend was the Pittsburgh Pro. Awesome show. Really was anticipating this one. And it's damn near Olympia lineup and a lot of hype for Nick Walker going in, and he delivered. Thought he looked phenomenal. I'm a fan of Nick, I'm a friend of Nick, so I had some bias there, but as a whole, I saw Nick as the winner in my eyes. Now that we see the scorecard and you know Nick wins prejudging, Derek wins finals, and they tie and they go into another round to break that tie, which, you know, Derek was a little better in finals according to that scorecard. So judging him right back to back from there, it seemed more in favor to be for Derek. But as a whole, like for what I like to see, that more condition all around, that's where I lean towards Nick in my preference. But I think the lesson of this, and I put it on my story this past week, was that Nick is the embodiment of being relentless for your goals. When so many people doubt you and tell you no, you can't do it, he just sticks to the grind and self-belief and keeps carrying out his mission. That's what we all should do, like for your goals, your pursuit. All those people that tell you no, you should stop, you know, this isn't for you, you know, see out that goal. Be a Nick Walker, right? So congrats to Nick. I know he wanted to win, but I think there's a lot of exciting momentum into Olympia. And that could be his year, to be a Mr. Olympia. Now to finish up with some isolation movements. So what I have left is a bicep movement and a lateral raise. So I do biceps on my push days now instead of pull days. So I have full focus on my pull days and I don't just tack on shitty bicep work at the end. So do 3 sets of an incline bench curl, and I do a paired set with my prime side lateral. Just, this is a time efficiency thing, but also like if I do a set, if I did all my sets of biceps back to back, I'm only having 2-3 minutes between those sets, versus if I go do a side lateral, then I come back, a little bit shorter rest period, but it gives me like an extra couple minutes before I would hit my bicep work again and before I'd hit my side delt work again. So what I've seen is be able to uphold that performance in all across those sets. So you're able to do more load, more reps across all of your sets and manage that intra-workout fatigue and get more stimulus, it would have greater potential for growth. So that's how I structure these, just going back and forth between the two. I know I don't list out my reps because reps are a little bit of lesser importance in my mind. Like, have the right execution, train hard to failure, and do those 2 things. And as long as you're within a hypertrophy rep range from like, I think 6 to 15 is a pretty good on average place to be. Maybe you go a little lower at times, maybe you go a little higher at times, but as a whole, as long as you fall within that and execute, train hard, like you're checking the big boxes for what should be good hypertrophy. That wraps up push day. Pretty much was a good session. Pumps haven't been like awesome. I feel like it's been a high food amount for a good chunk of time. Look forward to pulling down this next week, and next week we'll go over to the diet changes that I'll actually make. Maybe we'll do a day of eating or my carb vlog. I'm not sure. Maybe it'll be carb vlog / day of eating. So we'll see. But anyway, moral of our session today is be a Nick Walker, right? Like, just don't give up on your goals, be relentless. And that's what we'll be for this next prep coming up for Texas. Just rip it down, and I'm really excited to move to this next phase and show the bigger version of John and nail it. So thank you all for tuning in. Talk to you next week.